Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bear Track Outfitters podcast. Today we're gonna be talking about the basics, going back to the basics. I got my Red Sox hat on. We lost the last couple, but we're starting to surge. So I figured I would show my support. The issue that we're gonna talk about today is something that I It's bothered me for a long time, and I've kind of touched on it here and there, but I could talk about this one for quite a while. So I'll address a little bit of it today. I'll probably come back to this issue sometime later on in the next coming months or so, because as I said, it's something that I could talk about for hours. And so what I mean by getting back to the basics is I've noticed, as I'm sure a lot of you have, that hunting is becoming very commercialized, very more about business than it is about actual outdoors or hunting. Or just being in the big woods. And that comes from, guys with money buying up land and holding it for themselves or for their family, or they start a hunting club and you got to pay, X amount of dollars to hunt on this land. I know guys down in the States, clients of ours that come hunt with us every year. For a couple acres of land, they pay $30,000 a year just to hunt whitetail. That's a foreign concept up here in Canada. Thankfully, I buy my tag and I go hunt where I have permission, or on my land, or crown land, public land for Americans. So to pay money, especially $30,000 to hunt whitetail, that's just, to me, that's ludicrous. I get it, but it's ludicrous. And then I find out that that's cheap. There's other hunters of ours that told us that there's clubs that they know about that are around their house. I think this one's in Indiana. You're paying $250,000 just to be part of this club to hunt deer. They have full-time staff, managing the property, and it's wow. I can't wrap my head around that. That's just something that is so foreign to me, and I'm thankful that it's foreign. But I just, it goes to show what people will do to kill deer, and it just, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I think it's terrible. So that's one aspect of the commercialization of the hunting industry. Another way is through product. And this is one almost bothers me more than the other one. Because I see things, people pushing products, whether they work or not, and people using a product. Like, there'll be one, hunting influencer, if you want to use that term, or hunter, you watch on TV. He'll push this certain brand for years, and then something happens, whatever it is. They have a disagreement or falling out or what happens, and then he goes to another company, and then now he's pushing this, and oh man, I wouldn't have killed this big deer if it wasn't for this XYZ company or whatever. Well, like what? So this deer's eluded you until you put this certain camo on, or you grab this certain bow or this certain rifle. Like, I know a lot of people see that for what it is. thankfully. But one of the reasons I'm making this video is there's guys that don't. There's people that don't see that. Whether they're new to hunting, whether they're just not that into it as heavy as me or someone else, where it's all we do. But there's people who shot a certain bow for years, and John Dudley switches to PSE, and now everybody's trading their bow in for a PSE. Why? Like, your bow works fine. Just because Dudley, who cares what Dudley shoots? Who cares what Cam Hanes shoots? Who cares what Ranella shoots? Who cares? If it works for you, use it. Use it. There's a great story I have about that. It's about a guy that comes to our camp, and he's an older guy, great shape. Hope to be in that good of shape when I'm his age. And I've known this guy for years. He's hunted with us for years. He shows me pictures of the animals he kills back at home, and yeah, he's a stone cold killer. And what I mean by that is he puts the time in. It's not all about the kill for him. He's a true hunter, true outdoorsman. But man, does he kill big deer every year. On public land, or he has a bit of private land that he manages himself. He scouts it, he puts the cameras up, he does the work. And then he comes up to our camp and he consistently kills big bears. He'll consistently kill big whitetail with us. And so what's fascinating about that is he wears old, worn out hiking boots, army green cargo pants, every time this is what he wears, a black and green checkered flannel jacket, you know what I'm talking about, and a Tilly hat, a beige Tilly hat, or dark green, army green, depends what mood he's in, I guess. And you know what he shoots? A Jennings. Remember those old school bows, those old Jennings? That's what he shoots. That's all he hunts with. At home, with us, doesn't matter. That's what he hunts with. And the guy puts him down, man. He gets after it and he kills big animals. I'm not sure what the speed, how fast that bow shoots. But when I see him target practicing, I feel like I can probably catch his arrow. But hyperbole, obviously. But it's not a fast bow. And then we have guys that come out to our camp. They pull out their brand new Hoyts or Matthews or PSEs or Bowtechs or whatever, and they got the Tacticams, they got the new back tension fancy releases, they got all these sorts of things. They're decked out in Sitka or Kuiu or First Light or what have you, and they're grouping at a pie plate at 15-20 yards, which is, man, is that the first time you shot that bow? Or they missed the target. I've seen that. I've seen a guy put on $3,000-$4,000 worth of Sitka gear, including boots and everything, grabs his brand spanking new Matthews that he hunts with, puts on his Tacticam, grabs his brand new Vortex or Leupold rangefinder, because I told him what distance our baits are at, ranges my block target. He's standing at 18 yards and he missed. He straight up missed. I couldn't believe my eyes. I even asked him, like, "You miss? Or did it go through? Like, what in the world?" No, I missed. And yet, here we have this other guy, old school Jennings, putting down Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett animals. So, all this to say that, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what you use as long as you know how to use it. Now, if you want a brand new Jennings, if you want a brand new Hoyt, Matthew, PSE, Bowtech, Elite, whatever, fine. fill your boots. They're great bows. No, not denying that. My point is you see these guys on TV and they're like, oh man, if it wasn't for my Matthews, or it wasn't for my bullshit. You could have killed it with a Jennings, because I've seen it done. You don't need that stuff. We have to recognize that these people are pushing a product. They're getting paid to, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying we have to recognize this for what it is. And it seems some people don't get that. Some people think, oh, Cam Hanes says I need to shoot a Hoyt, so I'm gonna go buy myself a Hoyt. Waste of money. Because what if you shoot a Matthews better? What if you shoot an Elite better? What if the bow you have now is the best bow you have because you're used to it. You know how it works. You're comfortable with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just because Cam Hanes said so, who cares? Just because Dudley said so, who cares? Who cares? Shoot what works for you, not what they tell you to shoot. Because again, keep in mind they're getting paid to say that, and they may believe it. I'm sure most guys are not going to push a product they don't believe in, but the problem is some do. So you have to figure out for yourself what works for you, right? It's not going to make you kill bigger animals, so it's not going to help you to be more successful in the woods. I'm going to put it that way. And part of why I'm doing this episode now is I was reminded of this. I was heading on my way up to camp. I had to go do a couple things, and I was listening to the Mediator podcast. I don't listen to it often. It's not my favorite. If there's somebody on there that I like, I'll tune in. But other than that, I could really care less. I'll say it. I don't mind Steve Ranella and all them. I just find a lot of times they come off a little pompous, a little know-it-all. So it's not my favorite podcast to listen to. But if someone's on there, like when they had Ted Nugent or Waddell, I'll listen because I like those guys. And recently they had Dustin Huff, who shot the Huff buck. You may or may not know. It's the second largest typical whitetail ever killed, largest in the U.S. in history. And what's fascinating about that is he's on this podcast with Mediator, and they got Mark Kenyon and all their whitetail guys, and Spencer Newhart, whatever his name is, and they're talking about what they do for whitetail for scent and the tactics they use, and Dustin Huff was, I did none of that. He said, I literally did none of that. You look at him in the pictures posing with a buck, he looks like he's wearing mismatched old school Realtree or Mossio camo. I'll have to take a look again. I can't tell which one it is. Either way, it's old school camo, mismatched. He shot it with an old crossbow, a $300 crossbow. That's what he shot his bow with. Largest typical whitetail in U.S. history. He's wearing mismatched camo, and he shoots it with a $300 crossbow. I love it. I love it. Why? Because again, like I said, it does not matter what you have as long as you know how to use it. It comes down to the basics. And that's why I said today we're getting back to the basics. You look at the Milo Hansen buck. He shot in 1993 up here in Canada, in Saskatchewan. He's using a Model 88 308 Winchester, and he's wearing a one-piece orange jumpsuit, blaze orange jumpsuit, and there's snow on the ground, snow everywhere, and he kills the largest typical whitetail ever taken in history. Story goes, he finishes up chores on the farm. His dad and a couple of his dad's friends do a deer drive. They push bush, whatever you want to call it. And he's sitting at the edge of this flat and he shoots this deer. It's, again, got off work. Hey, still got time to go. Let's go sit in the woods. And he shoots the largest typical whitetail ever killed. No food plot, no scent lock, no ozonics, no fancy redneck muddy blind. Nothing. Just sitting in the bush, shoots a deer. And to me, that's the basics. That's what deer hunting's about. Yeah, granted, I'll be the first to admit there's a bit of luck involved in that. But it comes down to you just gotta be in the woods. You gotta put the time in. And so, I love hearing stories like that because it debunks all of this influencer nonsense of where you need this, that, or the other thing. The biggest non-typical ever killed, it was found dead in a field by, I think his name is David Beckman. And that was in 1981. And so, I got to thinking, like, is there any meat to my theory? Like, are more deer being killed now than back then? And if so, okay, maybe all this technology is doing something. It is making a difference. But so I went on Boone and Crockett's website and did a bit of digging, bit of research. And I think I'm more solidified in my theory now than I was before. So I looked up what are typically regarded as the big deer states. When you think of, I want to kill a big whitetail, what states are you thinking of? And so what I found is normally people regard these states as the top whitetail states for killing big deer. And that's Iowa, Kansas, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Minnesota, Kentucky, and Ohio. Those are the big ones. And so I went on Boone and Crockett's website just to see, because they display all their records. What are we looking at here? What do the stats tell us? Now, I think there does have to be a caveat. You might have a guy, again, whether this is the case, chances are, because I know whitetail hunters, if you shoot a big deer, you want the world to know. But I just to be as fair as I can, I think I'm going to put the caveat, you never know, some Johnny Two-Skidoos from Podunk, Indiana, or wherever, shoots a monster and just doesn't care. Yeah, he got it European mounted or even shoulder mounted, and it's in his barn somewhere in his basement. And it may be the world record. I'm leaving that up as an option. Do I think that's the case? Probably not. Like I said, I know whitetail hunters. You shoot a 220-inch typical whitetail, you're gonna want people to know. You're not gonna want to know where you're not gonna want them to know where you shot it. But you're gonna want them to know you did. But again, in the spirit of fairness and transparency, I recognize that may be the case. So, what do we got? Iowa. The largest typical killed in Ohio was in 1974. The largest non-typical was 2003. The largest typical in Kansas was killed in 1995. The largest non-typical killed in Kansas was 1993. Wisconsin, largest typical, 1914. Largest non-typical, 1973. Illinois. The largest typical there was 1965. Non-typical, 2018. That's pretty recent. Missouri. Largest typical kill there was 1971. Largest non-typical was 1981, but it was picked up. So Boone and Crockett makes a distinction whether it was killed, found, roadkill, picked up, whatever. This one was picked up, it was found by someone. Now, again, transparency. Did someone shoot it and it ran away and they never found it? And all of a sudden, oh, hey, there's a dead deer here. Did it die of a disease? Did it die of old age? Coyotes? Who knows? All we know is it was picked up. It wasn't a confirmed kill. The last time someone killed the largest non-typical, killed was in 2000. I think that was 3 or 4 on the list. The first 2 were picked up. In Kentucky, the largest typical killed there was in 2000. The largest non-typical, again, picked up, but that was 2019. The last time someone killed one was 2002. And in Ohio, the largest typical was 2004, and the largest non-typical was 1940. Minnesota, I can't remember if I did Minnesota. Anyway, if I didn't, the largest typical killed there was 1918, and the largest non-typical was 1974. So, to me, there you have it. Now, you know, I looked at this and go, okay, the largest deer were killed. I mean, it's been a minute since we've had the record be broken. The largest typical 2004, largest non-typical 2018. So I mean, we're quite a ways removed. So I go, okay, well, yeah, the largest is killed then, but are we consistently killing bigger deer now? And the numbers don't show that we are. They're not. With all the genetics, with all the analogics, with all the food plots, with all the antler growth minerals, with all these stupid deer farms, we're not consistently killing bigger deer. I don't believe we are. And so again, that just reaffirms my theory, and you're free to disagree, and you can write in and tell me I'm wrong if you think I am, and we can figure it out. But that's just what I believe. I don't think this equipment is making a difference. That big a difference. You know, there's the OGs killing animals long before any of this came out, long before any of us, most of us anyway, were around. And so, you know, it just it's hard to make the case that hunters today are more successful because of the gear we have available. I do not see the evidence for that. You know, I do have to say this. I don't care if you wear Sitka or Kuiu or First Light. I wear First Light sometimes. I do not care. That's never been my point. My point is, don't sit there and tell me that the reason you killed this 180-inch whitetail or this, you know, this 400-pound black bear is because you wear Sitka. Bullshit. It's not. You can wear and use anything you want. If you don't have the basics down, you're gonna have to be lucky. I'm convinced of it. You know, I'll when I guide or hunt waterfowl, I'll wear Drake. I love Drake. I like their gear. I think it's durable. I think it's comfortable. Keeps me warm. Keeps me dry, and that's what's important. Warm weather, bear or whitetail hunting, I'm wearing First Light because it's breathable. It's durable. It's super comfortable. Colder weather, I got my Real Tree stuff. Like I'll wear what works. I don't care what the name is. If it works, I'll wear it. So, you know, I think we're so diehard on brands and names and loyalty. For what? Yeah, if you like it, great. If it works, great. If it doesn't, get rid of it. the scenario will determine what I wear. If it's cold and snowy and windy, I put my real tree stuff on, or I have a pair of mossy oak pants like bibs that I wear. I've had them for probably 20 years, and I wear them every late deer season because they're warm, they're comfy. It's not a fashion show. I'm there to try to get a deer. The amount of big animals that have been killed in the Walmart camo, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I talk about the basics. What are the basics? What do I mean? To me, the basics are simple. Wind management, scent management, do your scouting, and just sit still and be quiet. It's really that simple. Hunting is really that simple. Now there's complex things in that, but just wind direction, scent management, huge. I know guys that kill deer, big deer, with a cigarette in their mouth. Manage the wind. There's a such thing though as too much so I'll share a story about that now with you. So we had a hunter this spring. One of my guides, he was with one of my guides, and I had my guys, and all week I had 4 hunters that week myself. All week they're seeing bears, like they're seeing a ton of bears, they're killing bears. By Thursday they're all tagged out, and they each saw probably 15-20 bears a piece. So it was a good week. And this one, my guide had this one guy, that's it. And he says he hasn't seen a bear. Has not seen a bear yet. And all week, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Oh man, why am I not seeing bears? Because everybody else is seeing bears. Excuse me. Everybody else. And killing bears. So, Thursday we get back, my last hunter tagged out. So we get back, we're sitting in the lodge having supper. And this one hunter, I won't say his name, he goes, man, what am I doing wrong? I don't get it. He says, I'm managing my scent, I'm using scent control, I'm trying to sit still, I don't. So I'm like, okay. So I started asking him questions, like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean, like, what, to get your scent, what's your strategy? What's your game plan? He says, I'm taking 2-3 showers a day in scent free, and he says I'm dousing my gear in scent away, or what, I don't know what he was using, but that scent eliminator spray. I was like, oh, that's a lot. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, man, that's too much. That's too much. I said, stop. I said, so what you're going to do is go grab your stuff right now. On the grass here beside the lodge, throw it in the grass. Throw it down. Get it in the grass. And so he does. He throws it in the grass. And I said, do not touch it. Do not shower again. Do not spray it. The only time you touch your camo again is when Tim picks you up and he brings you to the stand and you put it on. I said, that's it. That night, so he had one more night to hunt, which was Friday night. That night he saw 3 bears and he took a shot. He missed, but he shot at one. So there's such thing as too much, especially with a bear. Their noses, it blows the whitetails out of the water. It's unreal. And I told him, I says, what I do is when the guys I guide, I tell them they show up on Sunday. The first thing I tell them, grab your gear, throw it in the grass. That's it. I don't care what product you use. I don't care how much you spend on scent eliminator. You will never beat the smell of nature. Never. That natural smell, there's nothing that can touch it. A lot of my hunters don't even spray down. You throw them in the stand. I make them hang their gear outside or throw it in the grass or something, and that's it. So, just being mindful of that sort of thing, that kind of stuff. There's no shortcuts to killing big animals or to being successful in the woods. I should stop saying killing big animals, because at the end of the day, it's not what it's about. To be successful, let me put it that way. There's no shortcuts to being successful in the woods. Bear, deer, elk, it doesn't matter. It takes time, it takes work, and it takes knowledge. You gotta put the time in. You gotta know your game. Whatever you're hunting, you have to understand it. You have to know it. You have to fall in love with the process. That to me is the big thing. Honestly, I love guiding more than I love hunting. And you can ask my wife and anyone who knows me, I love hunting. But I love guiding more because I love the process. I love setting it up. And okay, they're probably gonna come in here. We should probably set the stand here. Let's do this, right? And that strategy, that game, that back and forth, and then a couple weeks later you check cameras, you're like, dadgummit, didn't work. Okay, now what, right? And all of a sudden you see the bears start coming in, and not only coming in, they're staying, or the deer, or whatever. It's like, okay, we got it, right? And seeing, especially a first-time bear hunter take his first bear, it doesn't get any better than that for me. I ask anyone who's taken their first bear with us, they'll tell you I'm more excited than they are. I love it. I love it. It's to be able to share in that process, not steal their moment from them, but to be able to enjoy it with them, and just know that it was my hard work that was able to my hard work, along with their patience, their shot, that was able to make that happen. I love it. The scouting, the planning, the trimming the shooting lanes. When it all comes together in the fall, or in the spring, depending what you're hunting, that's as good as it gets. I tell my guides all the time, deer they're killed in the summer, but they're shot in the fall. It's that process, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It doesn't matter what bow you use, what gun you shoot. If you didn't put the time in, if you didn't put in the work, none of that matters. I don't care if you're decked out in Sitka shooting the brand new Hoyt with brand new arrows. I don't care. If you didn't put the work in, it's pointless. That's why I another point I was trying to make throughout this whole diatribe is, when you look at the hunting industry, you gotta recognize it for what it is. There are guys that wear all that, do all that, have all that, and they pay someone to do it for them, and it looks like they did it, right? Whether and there's a lot of big names. I'm not gonna. Maybe someday I'll kind of open the lid on some of that, but there's guys that people follow and like and love and share and this and that and admire, that it's nothing but high fence and private ranches. Now it looks like they're fair chase and they're doing all this stuff, but they're not. They're not. So just be cautious. Just be wary. Just because someone kills a big deer doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Use a little bit of discretion. Don't assume everybody's a lying cheat, but you see a guy in 4 weeks, he shoots 4 deer over 180 inches, 190 inches. Okay. Nobody's that lucky. Nobody's that good. Not even the Drurys. I like the Drurys. And they kill big deer, but they also put a lot of time and work in. So just recognize things in the industry for what they are. There are guys out there who are dishonest, who it's, you look at their social media, their shows, you'd think they're putting in the work and the time and the effort and they're grinding and getting it done. Meanwhile, they've been hunting at a high fence this whole time. And then there's guys out there that are putting the time in. They're putting the work in. They're getting after it. The Drury's, small town hunting. Michael Waddell, legit as it comes. They put the time in. They put the work in. I know firsthand because I know them. It is all year long. Trail cameras, food plots, scouting, travel corridors. It is, you name it, they're doing it all year long. So when they kill that big deer, they killed that big deer. Plain and simple. There's no high fence. There's no private ranch. There's no fancy editing. It is what it is. But unfortunately, not everyone's like that. That's not always the case. So just be cautious. Be cautious for what it is. I've been in the hunting industry long enough to know that that's unfortunately the case. So, if you're unsure, just do a bit of research, do a bit of digging. Because for me personally, I'm not going to follow and support someone that's phony, that's dishonest. I think high fence hunting is the most limp-dicked way of shooting an animal. That's just me. But if you're gonna do it, at least be honest about it. At least give us the courtesy of being honest about it. That's about the furthest thing from the basics as you can get, which is one of the reasons why I don't like it. But if you're gonna do that sort of nonsense, at least be honest about it. Just say it, right? Hey, I shot a 420-inch elk. Oh, wow. It was high fence. Nah. Well, at least you're honest about it. I don't like it. It doesn't impress me, but at least you're honest about it. Now, if someone come up to me and said, hey, man, I shot this deer. I've been scouting this deer for all summer. I've got him on camera, and he went to this plot and to that there. And I managed to, it was a fight. But you know what? Late season, I finally managed to get him. He's only 130 inches. That, to me, 130-inch deer killed that way is far more impressive. Far more impressive than some yahoo going on a high fence hunt and shooting a 420-inch bull elk. Could care less. That's just me. So, basics. You want to be successful in the field, and success is different for everyone. But if you want to be successful in the field, don't get caught up in what the top guys are using or wearing. Find and wear what works for you. Because if you're not comfortable in the field, it's miserable no matter what. So find what works for you, what fits you best, what's most comfortable for you, and most importantly, put the time in. Do the work. That's the fun part. Back to basics. Thank you.